What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I want to take a look at a middleweight champion by the name of Terry Downs. Now, Terry Downs' nickname was the Courtney Kid. He was born on May 9th, 1936, in a section of London, England, and became the world middleweight champion of the world on July 11th, 1961, when a defending middleweight champion, Paul Pender of Boston, quit at the end of the round. It was the ninth round when he couldn't continue because of left eye laceration. And the corner didn't feel that it was safe for him to continue, so Terry Downs' hand was raised and became the middleweight champion of the world. Now, Paul Pender would get another opportunity at Terry Downs, and he would become middleweight champion again, defeating Terry Downs. And then Gene Fullmer would take the title away from Paul Pender. I know Sugar Ray Robinson tried at least two different occasions to get the title away from Paul Pender, but he was unsuccessful. So Terry Downs got that shot, and he made the most of it. So let's take a look at Terry Downs' career. Now, after a few amateur bouts, Terry Downs would turn professional, and he would become British middleweight champion of the world. That was fascinating. He was discharged from the Marines in 1957, returned to England, and he turned professional. After his 34th bout, in which 28 were victories and 23 were knockouts, he lost once on a disqualification and had been stopped 5 times, mainly because of facial cuts. So he suffered facial cuts. A lot of fighters did at that time. Downs' first championship was against the vacant British title. He stopped Phil Edwards. Fascinating. He would face Joey Giardello in London. And then he would have a rematch with Paul Pender in January 1961. And he would lose the middleweight championship of the world. So let's take a look at Terry Downs' career. He won various amateur service championships in the United States while serving in the U.S. Marines in 1954, 55, and 56. 1957, he would turn professional on April 9th and be placed on a card against Tony Longo in London and knock him out in 1 round. And he would have several fights that year. He would lose 2 fights. He would be stopped by Dick Tiger in the 5th round on May 14th in 1957. And he would lose to Les Allen November 19th, 1957. He would lose to him in 8 rounds. But other than that, he had all victories. 1958. He would have a good knockout in 4 rounds. And then he would face Freddie Cross in London, January 28th, 1958, and be stopped in the 6th round. February 25th, he would face Dennis Booty in London, England, and knock him out in 3 rounds. He would have some more fights. And then on September 30th, he would face Phil Edwards in London, and he would knock him out in 13 rounds for the vacant British middleweight championship of the world. Now here you have Terry Downs of England. He would be stopped by Spider Webb, December 9th. This would be in London. He would be knocked out in the 8th round. Spider Webb was a good fighter. He had a fantastic fight with Gene Fullmer. I urge that you watch that fight. 1959, February 24th. He would be stopped again in the 5th round against Michael Dauf. This would be in London. He would have a knockout over Andre Devier, July 7th, 1959, in London. He would knock him out in 7 rounds. John McCormick, London, England. He would lose on a foul in 8 rounds on September 15th, 1959. He would face him again, and this time he would knock him out in the 8th round for the British middleweight championship. 1960, he would have some more fights, all knockouts. He would have a decision win on October 11th against Joey Giardello in London. That was for the British middleweight championship. Then in 1961, January 14th would be the year. Paul Pender, Boston. He would be knocked out in 7 rounds for the World Middleweight Championship of the world. March 7th, Willie Green, London. He would knock out his opponent in 3 rounds. May 2nd, Tony Montana, London. He would knock him out in 5 rounds. And then July 11th, Paul Pender. He would knock out Paul Pender in 9 rounds to win the World Middleweight Championship of the world. He didn't quite knock out Paul Pender. Paul Pender could not answer the bell in the 9th round because of an laceration over his left eye. And they didn't feel it would be safe for him to come out. So therefore, Paul Pender would lose his championship to Terry Downs. But then again, like I said, Paul Pender would regain his championship later on that year in 61 and would become the middleweight champion of the world. And Gene Foreman would take the title away from Paul Pender. Ray Robinson tried to face Paul Pender a few times to get that middleweight strap. He wanted to become a 6-time middleweight champion. He was unsuccessful. And that's when Terry Downs was able to get that championship opportunity. So I just wanted to recognize Terry Downs, middleweight champion of the world, British middleweight champion of the world. Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Thanks for listening in. Salute to my subscribers. Peace.